Hello YouTube, today I'm going to be showing you a Crystallizing Grenwall guide for Hunter training. So what is Crystallize? What Crystallize does is when activated, it'll increase the experience by 50% at the cost of yielding no resources. I'll explain later in this video how exactly it works. The following requirements for this Hunter method are: the Light Within quest complete, 77 Hunter to hunt Grenwalls, 80 Hunter to set 5 box traps at once, medium Elf City tasks complete because Grenwalls do not require baiting after you complete the tasks, and 95 Dungeoneering to access this location. You also must be on Ancient Spellbooks and Ancient Prayers as well. It's also essential to be on Legacy Combat Mode. I'll explain later in this video. For those who do not already know, the private Grenwall grounds from the Big Chinchompa do not work with Crystallize. The current location I'm using is the Mailer Resource Dungeon. The entrance is located in the Mailer clan, just north of the Harmony Pillars. There are a few ways to get there. Wardstalker Ring, a sinkhole reward, or purchase for 10k Dungeoneering tokens can teleport you directly to this resource dungeon. Crystal Teleport Seed teleports you to the Mailer District, and Elf City Quiver 4, from completing all the Elf City tasks, teleports you to the Harmony Pillars. If for whatever reason you don't have any of the above available, just take the Profundus Lodestone and run north then slightly east. What I'm wielding is an enhanced Yaktui stick, which increases Hunter experience by 5%. It is unlocked by catching 1000 Charm Sprites. It may take a while to get, but it's well worth your time, and it's also a Completionist Cape requirement. Charm Sprites are located southeast of Eagle Peak's Lodestone. On my offhand, I'm holding a Tome of Frost, which acts as unlimited water runes. It's a Dungeoneering reward. Bone Crusher and Herbicide, both of which are in my tool belt, are also Dungeoneering rewards as well. You also want a Demon Horn necklace, which is another Dungeoneering reward. Each time you catch a Grenwall, the Bone Crusher will crush its bones and restore 50 prayer points. The aura I'm using is a Tier 3 Tracker aura, which increases the success rate of catching Grenwalls by 7%. Some people use a higher tier aura, and it helps, but I think Tier 3 will just do fine. Silver Hawk Boots is optional, but it's really essential if you're going to train agility while doing Hunter. The rest of my equipment is full of prayer boosting gear, which will slow down the prayer drain rate. For my inventory setup, I have 6 box traps. The extra box trap is just in case I lag and lose my box trap. That way I don't have to run into the bank and grab another one. I also have a few replenishment flasks, which is an adrenaline and super restore combined. A few super prayer renewals are enough to restore prayer. Arctic bear pouches invisibly boost your hunter level. Fire, chaos, and soul runes are for crystallize spell. The prayer you're going to be using is light form. I'll leave a separate link for my box trap setup, but basically you want to set 2 boxes on each the left and right side of the tree, and then 1 2 squares south of the tree. So how does Crystallize work? I did briefly cover it earlier, but I'll explain more details. When you click Crystallize from your spellbook, you target a successful resource node. What happens is the targeted node will now look crystal for 30 seconds. Every time you gather the node, you gain 50% more experience than as if you were to normally check it. However, you will not gain any resources from the crystal node. The experience boost can be bumped to 87.5% with Lightform Prayer active. With Hunter, there's an exception with Crystallize, however. Each time you check a crystallized box trap, there's a 10-second cooldown between your next check. Because each crystallized box trap lasts 30 seconds, you should be able to check that box 3 times before recasting. You can only have 1 crystallized node at a time. So let's go over my strategy. I've had a few people asking me why they got such low experience rates, despite trying hard and even using a Tier 5 aura. Well, the strategy is the most important factor towards your experience rates. As I mentioned earlier, I suggested to go on Legacy Combat Mode. There's a fast way to lay down box traps using what is called a one-tick method. Each time you attempt to drink a potion and follow it by setting a box trap, it will only take 1 game tick instead of 3. Because I don't want to carry a lot of potions in my inventory, I use an adrenaline or replenishment potion. This is because Legacy Combat Mode starts you at 100% adrenaline. This means that when you attempt to drink the potion, it won't actually consume the potion, thus allowing unlimited one-ticking. Some people do it on EOC Combat Mode with energy potions because they're the cheapest potion. It's also much easier to do with an action bar. It works too, but if you one-tick all time, you'll easily run out quickly. What you should do after you crystallize a box trap is check the trap immediately. Because I mentioned the cooldown between getting experience on a crystallized trap, you should either fix the failed box traps or collect from any successful box trap between each check. 1 box trap redeploy should be enough downtime before your next check. Another helpful strategy is leave a shaking box trap up before your next crystallize. One common mistake I see people doing is immediately checking every single box trap. Ideally, this should be done after the second check on your crystallized box trap. That way it ensures that you keep rotating traps once it's done. If you do this before your second check, however, the new crystallized box trap may collapse. Just because a box trap is crystallized does not mean it will avoid collapsing. I don't know exactly how long a shaking box trap stays up, but it should be like 45 seconds or so. This is why I collect a box trap as often as possible if I'm sure there's more than one successful trap up. If there are multiple successful traps, just look for the most recent one and then crystallize it. In general, timing your crystallize precisely is how you optimize catch rates. There are also implings you can catch in this resource dungeon. 3 random implings spawn every 10 minutes, usually lower tiered implings. They're worth catching because sometimes you're going to have spare time between each check. It's also essential to have the triple experience permanent buff from catching all implings for Daffod in Umlaut District. This is a completionist cape requirement as well. You may also want to fletch broad arrows if there's any additional downtime, but that would be going hardcore. I'm not really precise with timing the crystallize, so it's not really suited for me. From what I heard, it's like an additional 125k fletching experience an hour. There's an alternative location for Grenwalls, located south of Elf Camp in Isafdar. I have tested it before and the experience rate is slightly lower compared to this location. It also takes slightly longer to travel there. Sometimes I misclick and end up hitting a bear, which puts me on an annoying 10-second cooldown of laying a box trap. So let's compare other high-level hunter methods. Grenwall hunting from the big Chinchompa tickets is around 450 catches per hour, or around 519k XP per hour. That is not factoring in the time to gather the tickets. The distraction and diversion is no longer worth doing, to be honest. I do not have any protean traps, so I don't know what to say about them. I believe there's another method of hunter training with proteans, now that there's an auto-deploy option. Either way, they come in limited supply, so don't worry too much. For experience boost, I have a Yaktui stick, refer a friend 10%, and 3% clan avatar bonus. Overall, I got 902k XP this hour. If you were to factor out the refer a friend and clan avatar bonus, I would still get 796k XP. As you saw in this video, I was hardly failing any catches, so I don't think Aura tier makes too much of a difference if you can't afford it. Credits to Joffrey and Sidel for originally discovering these methods. So yeah, thanks for watching and I hope it helps. If I missed anything, feel free to ask.